Evening all, welcome to Kicking Dust. Right, today we're going to talk about some various things. Now again, we'll continue probably with our Uprising 1.2 discussion, our discourse, our thesis. Basically I think where we've got to is, this is a pretty good update. I think let's talk about maybe some of the rather negativo things that are there. Armor tanking. Armor tanking seems to have been kind of nerfed. Well, not nerfed. I don't think it's kind of been given the love that maybe it deserved. But let me just inform you, perhaps, there is an exploit currently doing the rounds. Now, I don't know if this is true. I couldn't actually do it because I don't have... Well, actually, now I think about it, I do have an armor character, so I could have tested this before I started blibbering and blobbering about it. But ignoring this bibble and hoping it's correct, there is a bug, quote, exploit, where you basically can fit really good armor plates and then fit the ferrous basic plates with no movement penalty. And if you put them in the right order, they basically remove all movement penalty from the armor at all. So, give it a go. I'm sure they'll class it as an exploit and hotfix it very soon. Maybe even by the time you see this video, it already will have been hotfixed. But it's, again, just these are unfortunately some of the bugs they have. QA is one of these things. You could spend ages doing QA, or you could actually just put it out there and majority of the things are fixed. I don't think it's a problem. I think, if people are using this bug, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think, so many people seem to get in their head that when they change your fit, so if you're running Caldari Logi right now, let's say, you're Fred. Hi Fred, how are you? Let's say you're using your Caldari Logi suit now with your Devol assault rifle. First of all, you're using pretty much fit of the month, okay? That's perfectly fine. That's the best fit in the game probably at the moment. And if they tweak it or if they do anything to it that just kind of changes it slightly, you are going to raid. Now, you've got to stop this. They've changed the scout suit so that it sucks a bit more, but it's still a very good suit. The Caldari Logi, if they reduced a bit of the shield, will still be a good suit. The heavy, the medium frames, the assault frames, whatever it is they do, don't get bent out of shape out of it. They're always going to change stuff. So, don't get too worried about it. I think certainly some of the changes that they need to do are going to have to be to balance these things, because I think still, pretty much there is a massive proliferation of AR and assault suits, and I think the Caldari Logi assault suit seems to be fit of the month at the moment. So, and it has been for some time, and I think people will continue to use it. But again, I think what bothers me is people really start to piss and moan and start to say game's dead when their little bit of the game is threatened. Okay, stop it, seriously. When in Eve they do this, the game you adapt. If you never adapted, you would get bored as balls of this game. So don't see it as a negative that they're going to make changes to it. I think by making changes, by nerfing and aligning certain things, you will then actually try something different, and the longevity of your participation in this game is increased. Okay, hope people get that, because I'm kind of sick of people saying, well, I run tank all the time, and tanks, they've nerfed tanks, leaving the game. Well, fuck off then. Seriously, we don't want you in the game because you're a moany little bitch. We want people in the game who are going to say, oh man, my scout suit, they've changed my scout suit. It's not as good anymore, so that means I'm going to try and make it better again. And that constant kind of finding, or almost like quest for the best fit, is what I think makes games like this work. It's not, Planetside or Battlefield or any of these games where, to be honest, there's not really that much you can do. In this game, your skill as a player and shooter and pilot, whatever it may be, is as much as important as your skill as a logical fitter. Okay, so hope that's clear. I know I'm kind of being quite passionate about that, and yeah, I know I use some no words, but at the end of the day, it just really bothers me when people kind of they just run the same fit over and over. And then when it gets nerfed a little bit, they completely spaz out. We've had a few people really go absolutely nuts. Right, what you're seeing here, I'll link the video below. That's Eddie Rio. He's actually just done one of his little sneaky waiting and finding snipers, and then basically sending them a message so that their little message thing flashes and saying, behind you. I'll link the video. It's hilarious. Literally, it is absolutely the funniest thing I've ever seen. And he's doing a lot of this. So go check him out his channel. He is awesome. Subscribe to him and give him much love. Anyway, that's enough promotion of that dude. So let's talk about now, I think, forge guns. Forge guns in this game, I always thought were quite good. I never actually had a problem sniping with forge guns. They are the anti-material gun of the game. They'll kill troops, vehicles, whatever it may be. And I always thought that they were quite good anyway. Now, forge guns have become a lot better. They've actually got I mean, to be honest, I haven't noticed it, but everyone's telling me, so I'm just going to say, and go with it. Oh my god, did you just see that? That has to be the most epic kill, I think, ever. Run and jump, splat. Anyway, so I think forge guns have become very viable as anti-personnel rifles now. I think they're pretty good, I think, generally, but they seem to have a much wider shot now. I know that doesn't make any sense, but they basically have a projectile that travels and basically hits. It's a more noticeable projectile, let's say. So I think they're very worth a go. I mean, even the militia one will kill any suit in the game dead, one shot dead. The splash damage isn't bad either. So, have a consideration, maybe try out forge guns. You can do basically forge guns with no skill whatsoever, no skill points rather. You can just have militia suits and militia forge guns and you're away. And I would say it's worth a shot. Don't just get one suit, die, say it's crap and never do it again. Buy 5 and try it. And I think you'll have some fun. Just remember that they are slow, stationary turret style suits and stuff, so give them a go. Okay. Next thing to talk about is, I guess, Nova knives. I know you've probably seen me doing my flavor fit here. This is, look at that. Sexually arousing whenever you kill. Whenever I kill someone with the Flaylock, I go a little bit hard. And I don't mind telling you that because, again, I know that it just induces tears. And I think the thing about, again, this game is that there is something quite satisfying when, some of the better players in the game literally die 5 or 6 times in a row to you, knowing that they probably usually go the whole map, never dying once, usually when they're running their gangs and that. And then, people like us come along, John McGeechee and me and, a few other kind of pretty decent Flaylockers and just wipe them out. And the rage it induces is just arousing. Very, very much so, in fact, because it does seem that people really have a bee in their bonnet, as we would say in the UK, about Flaylocks. I mean, they say, they're overpowered, they're over this. They are a very powerful weapon. I'm retreating from my trolly state of no, they're crap. They are phenomenally powered, but John and I think both have got proficiency up to, I've got proficiency to 4. I've got pretty much every skill pretty much there for it. So my investing of, if I was using the equivalent assault rifle where I'm killing you just as fast, but in a different medium, no one seems to, no one clocks with that because the AR is sacrosanct. You can never take the AR as a bad gun or an overpowered gun because everybody uses it. So, I don't know. I actually don't think they should change the floor lock. That's probably what's going to be called, the Flaylock at all. Because to me, I think the gun is kind of there to do this role. Maybe just reduce its shield impact slightly. I mean, I think if you wanted to make it fair, look at that, bloosh. I think to maybe make it fair, I think maybe reduce its shield damage capability. Maybe I think it's like plus or minus. I think it's plus 20% on armor, minus 20% on shield. Maybe make it minus 30 or 40% because then there is just quite a massive penalty to it, and it would require additional tactics to use. So, for example, what I'm starting to use now is flux grenades. So I actually will flux a group of people, then flaylock them, and if maybe make it like that, almost like Dune. If you've never read Dune, or if you've never seen the film of Dune, D-U-N-E, by the way, they basically have personal shields in that, but they are impervious to projectiles. Okay, nothing can get past that shield. But once the shield's down, yeah, big trouble. So I think maybe make it like that. Maybe literally put more of an emphasis on shield being a blocker to things like flaylocks, and I think that's fair. I just don't feel that. Again, when we say it's overpowered, well, is it overpowered because good people are using them? I mean, that's kind of insulting, isn't it? I mean, it's a funny thing to kind of say, the mass drivers, I know we've got some really good mass driver people out there, and yes, the mass driver felt very broken. It didn't feel as if it was right. Now I would say it's probably back there to what maybe it should be. So, and again, thinking about it, if you put so much skill points and ISK and effort into the supposedly the top tier prototype weapon. All prototype weapons should be kind of good, shouldn't they? I mean, look at me there. I've got a prototype suit, prototype Nova Knives, prototype Flaylock, and I still died to a basic suit. So I don't think you can kind of say anything's overpowered. It's usually the skill of the pilot. I mean, I get that a lot. When I go like 30-2 with Flaylock and Nova Knives and such, and people then send me messages like, oh, blah, lol, using this, using that. And I sort of sit there and think, well, I'm actually, I played well. You can't say I'm overpowered. I actually played quite well. They are good. They are, I think, at the moment, a bit too easy to do damage with. Look at that. Nova Knife Gang. I even meted that dude. That's funny. But I just think sometimes we do get a little bit bent out of shape maybe when we should not necessarily say something's overpowered. We should say, how do we kind of either bring that to another level or down a level, or how do we make other weapons a bit better? I mean, things like the laser rifle need a bit of a push up. Things like the mass drivers, I'd say, are cool now, and things like the core Flaylock, I think, need just maybe a penalty in some way, maybe around shield. Okay, it's supposedly a sidearm. Okay, so in theory you shouldn't use it until you've needed to switch to it. So maybe you've got to do your damage in another weapon, then you can switch to your Flaylock to finish the armor only. I think that's the original intent of the gun, but maybe that's a way to fix it. I don't know. I think the plasma cannon is an absolute waste of time. I think that needs a bit of love. I like the idea of the plasma cannon. I think there is going to be nothing funnier than a dude with like a 200 or 300k ISK suit, prototype Cal Logi with Devol. You know the type. And then you run around a corner and you blap them basically with one shot of your Allotech wonderful gun. I think that we need more of that. And hopefully I think we get some love for the plasma cannon. Let's see if we can Nova this dude. Oh, he's still so far away. Oh, yeah. Sexual. So I think generally, there's a lot of good stuff with this patch. And I think, people are sort of, I'm asking people I'm ganging with and sort of, what do you think and that. And I think so far everybody seems quite happy. I think the controls seem to be fixed to a degree. I think controlling a tank I've still yet to try with mouse and keyboard. But giving orders seems a bit easier. I mean, I don't know. Post in the comments if you agree or not. But to me it maybe just feels a little bit less clunky. I think it's not quite there yet, but again, I don't know if that's going to become a major issue. As long as you can just select the module you need, roughly, that's it. It's either simple yes or no, it works. And I think as it stands at the moment, I would say it probably works, but it does feel still slightly erratic. Anyway, there we go. Not bad, 13-4 with a Nova Knife gang. That was pretty awesome. Hope you enjoyed the Nova Knife footage. I'm absolutely loving these things. They are absolute monsters of rage and death and destruction. So there we go. Just a quick shout out, as always, squadb.com. Go check us out. Twitter, obviously follow me on Twitter. Doing a fair more Twitter twattering now. So if you're interested, click on that. And also, if you have a spare moment in your precious day, please come and like us at like.squadb. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.